Hey guys. Okay, hopping on today to talk about essential expenses for freelancers. And I think you're going to be pleased by the direction we go with this. A lot of times when people are thinking about starting a new business, thinking about becoming a freelancer, a big concern is, okay, yeah, how much is it going to cost me? Am I going to need to pay for all kinds of software? Am I going to need to pay for all kinds of hardware? Am I going to need to? In general, the answer is going to be no. Here's what you really need. You do need a computer, and you need a reliable computer. So if you have one that's kind of been dinged around or something like that, you might want to think about upgrading. But if you are not in the market to upgrade, just make sure that you have good backup software on there. Whether it's, I know Apple will automatically, or you can have everything synced to the cloud. No matter what you do, you cannot let whatever work you've done on your computer disappear because your computer dies. I think it's called Moxie Home is another option if you're on a PC. But you do need backup software for your computer because you cannot afford to have all the work you've done for your client disappear. You just can't in general, but especially not when you might have a deadline coming up. So computer, some kind of backup software, internet, right? You need reliable internet. You need to be able to connect with your clients, send them things, email them, connect with them via Zoom. And you need to be able to host your website. So your website, whether you do it on Squarespace or Wix or Verb or one of those other ones, you guys know in our freelance course we have a couple of different options and some advice on how to do it. So you need one of those, and that will usually run you around $15-20 a month. Beyond that, not much. For your specialty, if your special industry has expenses, has requirements. For example, if you are if you're an SEO specialist, a search engine optimization specialist, and you come in and you go through people's sites and you do a full diagnosis and then a plan for them to implement, then you might need additional software. You might need a subscription to something like SEMrush or something like that. That's something to factor in. Also deductible though, so bear that in mind as well. But of course, like your website is also deductible. There's a lot of deductions. But so you have software that is essential for your particular freelance specialty. That might be the case. Obviously, I can't go through for each of you exactly what that would be. But by and large, that's what it's going to be. Is it a bad idea to have a printer? No, but do you absolutely need one? Probably not. It's unlikely, unless you, again, depends on your specialty, but unless you're going to be printing out something on a regular basis, you can just drive to FedEx Kinko's or whatever and print something out there. If that starts to become a regular thing, then pick yourself up a printer. And it's the printer ink that gets you. Bear that in mind. But beyond that, do you need a dedicated phone line? No. Do you need a second cell phone? No. As long as you don't mind giving out your cell phone number to clients if they want to have just a phone call, then it shouldn't be a problem. But also too, so many clients would prefer to meet with you over Zoom anyway. Generally doesn't matter. Do you need swanky office space? Probably not. Most of us will be just fine working from a corner in our house, the kitchen table, maybe even now that the world's opening up again, a coffee shop around the corner, something like that. Do you need even payment processing software? Not something that you need right away. PayPal, absolutely. But options like, I believe it's called Wave app, which is one of the good ones, and we have a couple more in the course as resources so you can choose from. And they'll charge a little bit of a fee, but not even all that much. And do you need them immediately? No, not necessarily. You guys know that our philosophy is if a piece of software or a purchase or something like that for your business is not going to pay for itself and then some many times over, you don't need it. Wait until you absolutely do need it, and wait until it's going to pay for itself many times over. You don't need the swanky client software, this swanky client tracking software. You don't need it. Maybe eventually, when you have clients coming in regularly, you think, okay, yes, I do want to do this. Great. But at that point, it's going to start paying for itself in terms of taking that headache off of your plate. Same thing with like scheduling software. If you need to schedule appointments with clients while you're still getting started, you can just do that for yourself on the phone with your client, saying, okay, I have 3:00 on Thursday. How does that work for you? Great. And then put it in your own calendar. Eventually, can you upgrade and get Calendly or Acuity and send your client a link so they can book themselves? Yeah, absolutely. But do you need to do that right away? No, you don't. When you're first getting started, you want to focus on getting that income in versus spending. And I know it can be very, very tempting to want to purchase things or get bells and whistles and that kind of stuff. I need a logo. I need a really nice office chair. I need a this. I need a that. I need this software. I need letterhead or whatever. It can be very tempting, and partially to number one, because it can be fun, but number two, it can make us feel a little bit more legitimate. But that's going to be a temporary high, as anyone who, like me, will shop sometimes to make the day feel a little bit better. It's a temporary high, and it's the same thing with buying letterhead for your business. It's a temporary feeling of legitimacy, but the real legitimacy, that real lasting feeling of legitimacy, comes from booking clients and doing the work and invoicing your clients and getting those payments and getting clients telling you how pleased they are with your work and getting referrals and all that kind of stuff. So don't be tempted to purchase for the sake of purchasing, and don't be tempted to purchase because you feel like it'll make you feel more legitimate. It's one of those things our brains will do to try to keep us from actually moving outside of our comfort zones and doing the actual work. So don't buy for the sake of buying. Don't buy for a feeling. Buy when you actually need something and when it's going to pay for itself many times over. That's when you need to make a purchase. In general, as a freelancer, that's a great thing. Not the great thing, many great things, but we get to travel light. We need a computer. We need some software on our computer, and we need access to the internet. So if you're going to go overseas, maybe you need, maybe you want a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a Wi-Fi hub. That can be helpful if you're not going to be a place where there's easy access to Wi-Fi. But in general, you don't need, and your website too, sorry. But in general, there aren't a lot of expenses to starting up your freelance business. You already have the expertise in your industry. Now you're going to go in, and instead of doing it for one company, you're going to do it for a bunch of different companies, and you're going to share the wealth, metaphorical wealth, share your skills and your abilities, and you'll earn your income for that. It's not a big outlay of cash. So I hope that is maybe a pleasant surprise if you were thinking, God, how much is it going to cost me to actually start a business? It's not. The cost does not come from actual monetary cost. The cost comes from being willing to do something a little bit different, being willing to get a little bit outside of your comfort zone, and being willing to try something new that maybe you have perceived that other people have tried and weren't able to succeed at. You guys know that by and large, the people who aren't able to succeed at freelancing, it's not because freelancing is impossible. It's because, unfortunately, and this is not their fault, but they've gone in without a plan. They haven't had a system for consistently finding clients. That is where the success comes from. But it doesn't come from buying things. So that's the good news. The maybe not good news, but the harder truth is that the cost doesn't come from actually monetary cost. It comes from having to get a little outside your comfort zone. And I would say I know that it's not taking a risk on yourself, but sometimes it can feel like taking a risk on yourself. But being willing to take the action. That's what the actual cost is. It's in energy, and it's in willingness to try something new.